Welcome back, I'm the Watch King. On this video, we're talking about a fatal flaw in modern Rolex. This is my particular Oyster Perpetual 41mm in green, but this doesn't just happen to me. I had a personal client come to me and it destroyed his watch, and we'll get into that story. But first, what is the flaw, right? The modern Rolex, I'm talking 2010, 2015 newer, right? There's nothing wrong. The movements, the quality control has never been as good as it is right now. Just insane. The polishing, everything about Rolex is spot on. Yes, maybe it's done by machines most of the time, but it's still very much highly controlled. You never see flaws. Very, very rare you will see a flaw in a Rolex. It happens, but very rare. So what is the problem with my watch, and what is the problem with my customer's watch? So I like wearing the watch on the bracelet. For a very long time, I had it on a rubber strap. I took it off, but I like the bracelet. That's how I'm currently wearing the watch, on its original Oyster bracelet. Bracelet's perfect. The clasp is perfect, everything. The screws on the side of the watch that screw in the links. Now, on mine, didn't just happen one time, right? The screws come loose. Either you're wearing a jacket, right? You put on a jacket and the threads go into the screw and make it unloose. Loose. That's my opinion. I mean, that happens, right? But over time, maybe movement or something in the screw that becomes loose. You can also put a glue, a sort of Loctite in there. You could. That's another option to fix this. But this problem has never been more prevalent than it is now because of what it is. It kept getting unscrewed, and once every month or so, if I'm wearing this a lot, which I wear this one most of the time, this is my GMT, I'll take the watch off and I'll just run my hand through the bracelet, right? So I'll run it through both sides of the bracelet, and if I feel something not flush to the bracelet, I look, I go, okay, this screws off, right? And oftentimes, sometimes you forget. I forgot. It was very far out, and if I left it for any longer, right? This just happened recently. The actual screw would have came out. It drops out of your hand, and wherever it lands, it lands. So it could be destroyed. Then you need to send it to service, and Rolex doesn't cover this under their warranty. They only cover the inside of their warranty. So you would be out another $1,000, give or take, right, for a service like that, especially if stuff is smashed, the crystal smashed, a lot of things you'll be out of money for. So what is there's no real answer to do it. Yes, you can add Loctite to your screw, but then unscrewing it, if you ever have to resize it, sometimes can be a little tricky. I mean, there's ways to get around it, but you know it is. So that is a fatal flaw. Keep an eye out. I will tell quickly the story of my client. So my client had a 41mm Datejust. His was with the smooth bezel and that gray with the Roman numerals. A really cool watch, discontinued. They didn't make those very long. Great watch. And he got it for an absolute steal. Doesn't mean whatever. I made sure it was all good. All the screws were done. And it happened. And it just happened. So I explained to him. I even said before, but I don't think he quite remembered. That is a flaw, and you have to say, if you're selling modern watches like this 41mm Oyster Perpetual or that Datejust, just let people know. A lot of people don't know that. Some watches don't have it, but some watches do, and eventually all those screws will get loose if you wear jackets or that's my biggest theory. If the threads get in there when you're getting dressed and stuff. So maybe put your watch on after you put on jackets, but maybe you have an overcoat after you're already dressed. You gotta, figure that out too. So it's actually a very difficult thing, but to say that's their only flaw is pretty amazing, right? The movement, the crystal, all these things never really have an issue. It's just that those screws. Let me know if you have a story about screws on a modern Rolex. Could be 36mm, 41, any of the sizes. It's those screws that get loose. So I would love to know. Thank you all. If you're looking for any vintage watches, typically don't have this problem, go check out the WatchKingOfficial.com. You can actually go in the description. There's a link there, and really some incredible vintage pieces there. Just check it out because it's worth your time if you're into vintage. So I want to thank you all, and I will catch you in the next video.